Hello again to my 10 viewers. I enjoyed doing the voiceover in the last two matches I played to give my thoughts as the match went on. So I'm going to keep that theme up. The preview for today is that the weather was, right around 25 degrees or colder, and the wind was absolutely horrendous, which led to both my opponent and I trying to adapt to the conditions, change our tactics a bit. It was a bit frustrating at times, but having to adjust point by point depending on the level of wind that we were dealing with. So I'll chime in when I feel like there's something to say, but otherwise enjoy the match. So I think that was a case of if the ball could go long, it would go long. I think it was much worse from the near side of the camera. If you swung out, it was more likely to go long, but could definitely go both directions. Also, yeah, I gave him I said, please take another serve because the wind was so horrendous. I can't believe he swung at it. It went, 3 feet in the air on his toss. But hey, man, these are the frustrating conditions that we have to play in sometimes. So now it's at deuce after being at 540. I'm definitely regretting having given that extra serve, but then again, you can see how difficult it is to serve at the moment. And, always do your best to be sportsmanlike when you can, though. In a league match, especially with bad conditions, probably not the best strategy to give your opponent another serve. But, hey, I made the call in the moment. As a result, though, I'm down to 2-0 and it's not looking so good. We'll see how this goes. I think that perfectly encapsulates the challenges we were dealing with during a heavy gust point. Really hard not only to get to the ball and predict its path as you're trying to hit it, but then also where the hell are you going to hit it based on the insane gust that you have to account for in the trajectory of the ball. So wild point, but obviously didn't have a lot of long points like that. Due to the fact that it was very challenging to not make errors with how the wind was pushing the ball around, making it hard to get it in the center of your racket, and then of course often it was sailing long, often it was sailing wide. It's very frustrating.
Oh, right at the camera.
So at this point, after finally getting on the scoreboard and holding serve, what I was thinking about is the fact that while it was more challenging to make your serves, so long as you actually made them, it was very challenging to return. So I shifted my focus to putting a bit more spin on the ball in the hopes that I could play into the wind, let it spin my ball more, and so long as I was able to factor in the wind and get the ball in, it would make for a very heavy spin serve that would be very challenging for my opponent to return. So on some of these points, I was definitely trying to use my mobility to my advantage. As mentioned, it definitely seemed like we couldn't swing out on the ball as much, and so a lot of shots that maybe it would have been possible to hit a winner, you couldn't really chance it, and so a lot of shots that maybe my opponent would have tried to hit a bit harder if they felt like they could hit it in under these conditions, I was able to get there on time. And so I tried to use that to my advantage and just play the consistency game and, hope that I could get enough balls in and that, hopefully my opponent would start making more errors than I would. Yeah, I think especially when hitting balls and returning serve on the near side to the camera, it was very easy for it to sail long given the direction the wind was blowing. I think that was probably the most impressive shot of the match, just by how far that ball moved on an overhead, and we all know at the rec level how easy it is to miss an overhead. I mean, just insane, man, like, this wind. And that practically looked like it was like a pancake serve or something. I mean, it's just insane. That was one of the serves where I was trying to play into the wind, and it definitely paid off. And here, like, that should not go in, but I got so lucky. So yeah, here the camera stopped recording for whatever reason, but more or less kept the same tactics. I won't deny it. If you guys know Most Exhausting Player, played on the Colt Tennis channel, a lot of matches, and rest in peace, by the way, to that channel. But he does a lot of slicing on the forehand side, and I definitely leaned into those tactics heavily as I closed out the first set, just because I felt like it was a lot more predictable, whether slicing on the forehand and backhand side, and a lot of balls that would normally land in by a lot of clearance were sailing long, and so it's not my favorite play style, and I didn't feel good about it, but it felt like it was just how I had to play given these conditions. But felt good closing out the first set 6-3. Obviously, I was down 3-0, so I felt really strong about my chances going into the second set.
I feel like every ball that can go long does go long, you know?
So there I deployed my favorite tactic, which is the opponent has 30, and you just double fault, and you give them the game.
Oh, the one time it didn't push my ball. I thought it was the other 15 times I got it. When it came back from the court. That was the first real forehand I've hit all day.
So that was another case where I feel like, the forehand slice, should that have won the point? I don't know, but I noticed Jason was having difficulty, particularly on the forehand slice, but also on some low backhand slices, getting it back. So I continued to deploy that slice as much as I could.
The ball. You're like, fucking finally, man. It didn't get pushed wide. Oh, Josie.
So now I'm down 4-2 in the second, and to be honest with you, I did feel like I knew exactly what I had to do to win, and I did feel like, in general, Jason was making more errors than I was. And I felt very confident at this one time. But at the same time, of course, I'm down 4-2, so I'm not really sure why I was so confident despite the score. But anyway, we'll keep watching this set. So yeah, unfortunately the camera dies here. I think, the short recap is I do think Jason played better in this set overall. And I think on a few of my shots, especially the slices that I was enjoying, I started going for too small margins and making more errors on my end. So, I mean, recreational tennis, it ultimately comes down to who's making less errors. So now we're in a tie break. For the third set, Jason had stuff to do in the afternoon, and to be honest, playing in these conditions, I think probably appropriate to wrap it up with a tie break. So I might have lost that point, but it actually helped give me a lot of confidence back. I did mention that I had a lot of confidence after winning 6 straight games in the first set, despite being down 3-0. And then the second set, I still maintained a lot of that confidence, but then, of course, I ended up losing, which made me a bit unsure. But after that fourth point in this tiebreak, I kind of felt like I can keep going all day and play the consistency game in these very frustrating conditions. And I felt like as long as I try and do that each point, I'm going to be able to win. So I kept doing my best to try and, all right, just keep the ball in, just play the points out, don't go for winners. And that was pretty much my tactics for the remainder of the tiebreak. Though double faulting doesn't help to that end. Yeah, so that was a really great serve right in the corner. I thought the wind was going to push it wide like it did on so many points in this match, but no, it did not. So, thankfully there wasn't any wind on a point, and the fact that I was expecting it is why I thought the ball was going to go out. So right there, I had an angled shot right on the line. It was the only shot like it the entire match, and for a few points in a row, there just was no wind. And so thankfully that put me at, 5-9, pretty good odds that I was going to be able to close it out.
I said we both have the same position. Well, yeah, but like you said, literally, like, is the gust of wind tone now or 2 seconds later? Like,
Thankfully, I managed to close it out. I do think that the wind favored my play style a bit. I hit with a bit more spin, and so I was able to play into it. And obviously, I was doing a lot of slicing today. Jason does hit a bit of a flatter shot, and so I do think he was at a bit of a disadvantage, even though we're playing in the same conditions, just given the way that he's used to playing. So hopefully we can get a rematch in good conditions and see how that one goes.